Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. Do young rappers hate Tupac? Do young rappers hate Tupac? Why does it seem like there's this recent string of I hate Tupac, I'm better than Tupac, Tupac sucks, fuck Tupac? like, why is it everywhere? It's such a meme at this point, just to even say the man's name and be a rapper. Just just leave Tupac the fuck alone. Just leave him alone. He's gone. Let him rest in peace. Let his friends and family live out the rest of their lives without you shitting on the dude's legacy. But let's explore. Let's explore. I saw this Twitter moment yesterday and kind of went nuts over it because it compiled a lot of ridiculous quotes over the past year or so. It's actually been kind of going on a while. This apathy toward one of the West Coast's most legendary rappers. But O3 Greedo says Tupac was a bitch, so on and so forth. Let's see. Also, Little Yachty, yeah, he says he can't name, Tupac or Biggie songs. Little Xan, not looking like he has much going on up here, says Tupac made boring music. XXX Tentacion says he's better than Tupac. Joey Badass says he's better than Tupac. He'd flame Tupac in like as a joke. It seemed like he was kind of laughing, but still said he'd flame him in a battle. Kodak Black, I'm bigger than Tupac and Biggie. I mean, I don't really know about that in terms of popularity. I don't know, but do young rappers hate Tupac? I think we can't really get too angry at younger rappers for sort of flaming Tupac, getting angry at Tupac, because to me, in a way, it's sort of par of the course. It's kind of what new generations of artists do when they're trying to define themselves by different sounds, different standards. They reject the past. And I don't really think it's anything personal against Tupac. The thing about Pac is that these old heads who jump down the throats of a Yachty or a Xan or so on and so forth, one of the first names that comes up, it's always Tupac. You guys aren't as good as Tupac. What happened when rappers used to rap? Tupac, Biggie, Tupac and Biggie. Even though there were plenty of rappers who were their contemporaries who are still alive today, and they don't get brought up in conversation. But I do understand there's a lot of emotion around Tupac and Biggie because they were taken from us prematurely. So when artists lash out at a Tupac or they lash out at a Biggie, especially this new wave where you're talking about the Chief Keefs of the world, you're talking about the Little Xans of the world, who do not at all operate by the quality standards that hardcore hip-hop artists did, that gangster rap artists did 20 years ago. They don't operate by those standards at all. So when you say to them, hey, how come you're not doing this? How come you're not doing that? Tupac used to do this. Biggie used to do that. You might as well be speaking fucking moon speak to them. They don't know what you're saying. And that's not to say that they don't or they can't understand. It's that you're not speaking on their level. You're not speaking to them in their tongue. You're not speaking their language to them, which is why they don't get it, because they don't care to get it. It's not in their business to get it. Now, when a lot of them lash out at Tupac and Biggie, figures like them, it's them kind of signaling in a way to their fan base that, hey, listen, I'm on this new wave. I'm with you, because honestly, a lot of their young fans feel the same way. They don't want to listen to Tupac. They don't want to listen to Biggie. That's old music to them. That's old. That defined another generation. That was then. To them, this is now. The brand and the style of music that they're making, it's very contemporary. It's very now. It's very flash in the pan. It's very of this moment. And it has nothing to do with the future. It has nothing to do with the past. It has everything to do with right here, right now, at this very moment. It's a blatant rejection of everything surrounding it, and it's just super hyper self-focused and self-interested to the point where it's kind of hit this feedback loop where it's only influencing itself now. And that's just the artistic You could either say rut, you could say peak, I don't know, depending on how you look at it. That is the moment that we've caught ourselves in. Now, nothing lasts forever. Eventually we're going to reach a point where the little Zans of the world and the Kodak Blacks of the world are no longer relevant and nobody's talking about them, But if somebody like Tupac with the next generation can wane in popularity or wane in interest, what hope does a little Zan have for maintaining an audience 20 years down the road, or having anybody saying his name 20 years down the road? Like, I remember when these rappers were great, like Little Xan. It's not to say that Little Xan doesn't have some fun tunes or doesn't have some bangers. He does. It's just that these dudes are not about longevity. They're not about longevity. They're not about long-term thinking, forward or backward, which is why none of them give a fuck about a Tupac. And again, when they're lashing out at a Tupac, they're lashing out more at the negative attitude toward their wave and their brand of creativity. I mean, maybe if the old school was a bit more open to what they're doing, they would be a bit more open to what the old school had done, Not saying that all of the blame is on one side here, but the animosity that we're seeing is not simply coming directly from these newer, younger rappers and their fans to figures like Tupac. It really is a two-way street. Long before we had quotes like these, there were dudes in North Face hoodies and Timbs just talking about these dudes, they don't rap anymore. It's just auto-tune now. They're all mumbling, even though the whole mumble rapper term doesn't even apply that widely across the board, because a lot of these kids who get labeled as mumble rappers, I could tell what they're saying, but whatever. So I don't think these kids really hate Tupac. They hate that they're constantly being defined by this older standard, despite the fact that the standards have clearly changed. And the old heads are sort of yet to accept that. Whereas I feel like if there was a bit more acceptance on both sides of the aisle, everybody would kind of learn and see that, look, there's clearly enough room in the limelight, in the genre, and to a degree, even in the mainstream, for both of these different kinds of expressions and approaches to exist. As great as he was, we can't just have people copying Tupac and living by the same musical and artistic standards Tupac did forever. That would mean the premature death of hip-hop as an art form. That is currently the growing pain that rock is going through right now, that nobody seems to have a super original or fun or exciting idea. All people can do is just sort of pull from the past 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 years of the genre without actually pushing it forward. And another thing that I feel like a lot of these old heads forget as well is that Tupac had an incredibly rebellious spirit as well. He was all about rejecting the pressures and expectations put upon him by others who were in power or were looking to him to sort of either fly right or appeal to a standard or appeal to a societal norm. And in a lot of ways, that's what these younger dudes are doing. That's what these younger dudes are doing too. They're just doing it to the beat of their own drum. They're doing it just their own way. They're just walking their own path. So over here next to my head, another review, another video you can check out. Hit that up, or the link to subscribe to the channel. Hit that up. Yeah. I'll see you in the next one. Anthony Fantano.